Welcome in, everyone. Today, we're diving headfirst into the mind of Gene Wolfe and his science fantasy masterpiece, Shadow and Claw. Now, don't worry, we're not tackling the entire saga in one go.
And believe me, a guide is exactly what you want when exploring Wolfe's work. He's known for his intricate prose and narrators who are about as reliable as a rusty compass.
Which is what makes this deep dive so exciting, right? We're introduced to Severian, our narrator, and right off the bat, he's a walking enigma. He throws around terms like Vodalarius without really understanding them, casually mentions he's an apprentice torturer, and oh yeah, he carries this seriously intimidating sword called Terminus Est. It's like Wolfe throws these puzzle pieces at us and says, figure 'em out, I dare you.
Exactly. He dangles information like a master angler, reeling us in slowly. Take that term, Vodalarius. It's not just a fancy word. It represents Severian's murky past and uncertain future. He's claimed by this title, yet doesn't fully grasp its implications. This mirrors how we, as readers, are constantly reevaluating Severian as Wolfe reveals more about him piece by piece.
Okay, let's talk about this whole torturer thing. Wolfe doesn't shy away from the grim realities of Severian's profession. We're right there with him in the torturer's necropolis, a place where death isn't just an end, it's an everyday part of life. He even describes it as a kind of playground from his childhood.
And that's where things get really interesting. Severian seems almost indifferent to the city's vast necropolis, describing it as common. But the guild's necropolis, with its rituals and eerie beauty, is presented in stark contrast. Wolfe writes, "The paths were all of sand, raked every morning, and the trees that grew in it were cypresses." It makes you wonder, what does this say about how Severian views life and death? Is he desensitized by his profession, or is there something else at play?
And then there's that scene by the river, the Gyoal. Severian almost drowns, and we're thrust into this vivid, almost hallucinatory experience. It's unsettling, sure, but also incredibly powerful.
This near-death experience isn't just there for shock value. Wolfe uses it to foreshadow Severian's journey, which, like the Gyoal itself, is full of twists, turns, and unexpected depths. Remember, water, especially rivers, often symbolizes a journey of self-discovery in literature. Wolfe is subtly connecting Severian's physical ordeal with his inner transformation, a transformation that's only just beginning.
Speaking of journeys, there's that pivotal moment when Severian meets the old man outside the citadel walls. This encounter might seem small, but it sets the stage for something much larger.
Absolutely. The old man tells Severian that the library extends beyond the walls, a statement that initially seems like nonsense. But as we later learn from Master Alton, the library isn't just a physical building. It represents a vast network of knowledge, hidden connections, and ideas that challenge the Citadel's authority.
It's like stepping through the wardrobe into Narnia, only instead of Turkish delight, there are ancient texts and whispers of forgotten lore. And speaking of whispers, we have to talk about the claw. This seemingly insignificant coin given to Severian by Vodalus quickly becomes central to the plot, even though its true nature remains elusive in these excerpts.
This is classic Wolfe. He gives us just enough to pique our curiosity without revealing too much. We're left wondering, what exactly is the claw? What makes it so important? And why is everyone, from the torturers to the enigmatic Vodalus, so fixated on it? This deliberate withholding of information keeps us hooked, urging us to read between the lines and become active participants in deciphering the book's mysteries.
It's like he's handing us a magnifying glass and saying, okay, detectives, the game's afoot. And trust me, the deeper we delve, the more fascinating this mystery becomes. But before we venture further, let's pause here for a moment. Part 2 of our deep dive awaits, where we'll explore the world beyond the Citadel walls and unravel more of Severian's captivating yet often contradictory character. Stay tuned. When we left off, Severian was stepping out into the wider world. It's like he's been in this, pressure cooker of Nessus, and now he's finally getting a chance to breathe.
But it's not just a change of scenery, is it? Severian's journey with the acting troupe is almost like a crucible. He's confronted with experiences that challenge everything he thought he knew.
Right, like those Pellerines he meets. They're like, hey, you think you know about the claw and the terminus est? Hold my beer. Suddenly, everything's up for grabs.
It throws Severian for a loop, and honestly, as readers, we're right there with him. Wolfe is so good at that, making us question everything we're seeing through Severian's eyes.
It's like, wait, is that a genuine religious experience, or is Severian just messing with us again?
Yeah.
Keeps you on your toes.
Yeah.
And then there's that whole thing in the Botanic Gardens, which is just, Weird, even for Gene Wolfe.
The botanic gardens are fascinating because they function on multiple levels. On one hand, you've got these fantastical elements, almost like something out of a fairy tale, talking animals, strange plants, spaces that shouldn't exist.
It's easy to get lost in the weirdness.
Hmm.
But then you have to ask, what's Wolfe getting at here? Is this just Severian's unreliable narration again, or is there something more to it?
Exactly. It makes you think about how we perceive reality, how our experiences, our memories shape the way we see the world. And then, of course, you have the Dorcas situation.
Or Dorcas,
Yeah.
the automaton with a heart of, well, maybe not a heart, but you know what I mean. It's both touching and kind of heartbreaking.
Dorcas is a really interesting character. She represents artificial life in a world obsessed with death. And her relationship with Severian makes you question what it really means to be alive, to love, to connect with someone.
It's deep stuff. But Wolfe doesn't let us stay in that melancholic space for too long. Just when things are getting cozy, bam, that cryptic message from the house, Absolute, arrives.
The one about the leaves and the wood marching north. Yeah, that sent chills down my spine the first time I read it. Talk about ominous foreshadowing.
It's like no matter how far Severian travels, he can't escape his past, his destiny. Which, I guess, brings us to the prison.
The prison becomes a symbol of confinement, both literally and metaphorically. Severian is trapped not just by physical bars, but by the weight of his past, his choices.
And his encounter with Jonas there just adds another layer of complexity to it all. They're both broken reflections of who they used to be.
And then, of course, there's that whole room of mirrors sequence. Pure psychological horror.
Right. And we're back, folks, for the final act of our Shadow and Claw deep dive.
Where the shadows themselves seem to be closing in.
Talk about an understatement. I mean, we left Severian staring down a prison sentence. Not exactly a happy ending in the making.
No, but it's classic Wolfe, isn't it? He puts his characters and us, the readers, through the ringer, forces us to confront the darkest parts of this world he's created.
And the prison itself is like a manifestation of that darkness. It's not just bars and walls. It's like the rules of reality itself start to bend in there.
You've got that right. It becomes increasingly difficult to separate what's real, what's Severian's perception, what might even be some remnant of Thekla's consciousness bleeding through.
Speaking of Thekla, that whole sequence where Severian experiences her memories, man, that's some heady stuff. It's like Wolfe is asking, what makes us who we are? Is it our experiences, our memories, or something else entirely?
It's like trying to grasp smoke. Every time you think you have a handle on Severian's identity, it shifts, morphs into something new. And then, of course, you've got that bizarre reunion with Jonas.
Oh, yeah, poor Jonas. Talk about a fall from grace. He goes from charismatic actor to, well, let's just say he's seen better days.
But their encounter serves a purpose, don't you think? It highlights just how much both of them have changed since their days with the acting troupe. The scars, both physical and emotional, that they carry.
And then there's that room of mirrors. Talk about psychological horror. Every reflection is Severian, yet not quite. It's like his psyche is literally fracturing before our eyes.
The Hall of Mirrors is brilliant because it operates on that symbolic level, right? It's not just a physical space, it's a representation of Severian's fractured mental state, his unreliable memories.
It's like trying to find your way out of a maze that keeps changing shape around you. But eventually he does escape. And where does he end up? Back in the belly of the beast, the house.
And it's a homecoming fraught with danger, wouldn't you say? He's no longer that naive apprentice we met at the start. He's seen too much, experienced too much.
He's got the weight of the claw, the burden of his destiny, and now he's face to face with the autarch himself.
Ah, the autarch. The puppet master behind the scenes, at least in part. Wolfe doesn't give us easy answers, does he? Is the autarch benevolent, malevolent, or some strange mix of both?
He's like a chameleon. Changes his colors depending on who's looking. And then, of course, you've got the play within a play that Dr. Talos status.
Now that's metafiction at its finest. A story within a story that both reflects and distorts the events of Severian's own journey. It's like Wolfe is winking at us, the readers, reminding us that this is all a construction, a carefully crafted illusion.
And it's within that illusion that Severian has his revelation about the claw. Suddenly, its true power becomes clear, but it's not exactly a happy realization, is it?
No, because with great power comes, well, you know the rest. The scene where Severian heals Jolenta is both beautiful and terrifying. A testament to the claw's potential for both creation and destruction.
It's like holding a force of nature in your hands. And as Severian flees the house absolute, you know things will never be the same. He's crossed the threshold, step beyond the point of no return.
He's no longer just recounting events, he's actively shaping them. And as we leave Severian poised on the edge of his future, I can't help but feel a sense of awe at Wolfe's accomplishment.
He's crafted a world, a story that lingers in your mind long after you've finished reading. It's unsettling, it's thought-provoking, and it's damn near impossible to forget.
Which is the hallmark of true mastery, wouldn't you say? Gene Wolfe doesn't offer easy answers, but he gives us something far more valuable. A reason to keep questioning, keep exploring, keep diving deeper into the mysteries that lie hidden beneath the surface.
And on that note, we'll bring this deep dive to a close. But the conversation doesn't have to end here. What did you make of Severian's journey? What secrets did you uncover in the shadows? Until next time, keep those minds sharp and those imaginations firing.